Previously in the anime, Morency managed to bring back the Holy Scabbard and revive Jean from death. But Black Ulysses also woke up and she and Jean again got into a heated battle. But Black Ulysses showing up was just a trap, as Glasstail was aiming for Jean once more, so in desperate situation, Morency swallowed the Philosopher's Stone and gained the ability to make a shield to save Jean from his holy arrows. But when Glasstail shot the second time, he hit Black Ulysses on her helmet on purpose to pull her back from that cursed helmet's influence. Then the fight ended, but the real problem begins after that. Because Morency swallowing the stone messed up everything, and the fifth and even sixth dimensions were now opening up for an otherworldly being. So now as the story continues, Morency wanted La Tierra to leave with everyone back to the safety because whatever that came out from another dimension was after Morency. So with the new shield powers he was doing his best to stop it. But there's a limit to everything, and finally Morency got caught by that being, and it turned him into something else. For a moment, he was inside of a memory where he saw an ancient Ulysses with Astaroth, and together they were sealing off the king of the gods to another dimension. That god king thinks that humans are lost without their masters, so what they are doing is a blasphemy, and that took whatever life force ancient Ulysses had and he perished into the dust, giving his hope to Astaroth to save humanity in the near future if the god king ever comes back. And after that memory ended, then Morency was standing there all alone, and then he turned into a demon. As he becomes the vessel for that evil god, there he started the rampage and call out to the spaceship that once belonged to the gods. And it becomes his weapon of destruction with which he wants to wipe out humans to create an utopia. Others could only watch the world's end, but not everyone. As Nicholas came out regretting that he spared Morency when he was a child. And nothing could stop that god other than Nicholas because he's from an organization called Templar Knights. And he's the last surviving members. That god king is after Astaroth for revenge, and others decided to retreat while they still could, but La Tierra had other ideas. As for Templar Knights, their job was to destroy Philosopher's Stones, but a traitor smuggled one of the stones and it somehow ended up in Morency's hand, which brought back the evil god once again. And as a last Templar Knight, Nicholas used whatever last alchemy power he had to send the god back, but God was stronger than Nicholas thought, and now he gets back to work. But first he wants to torture Astaroth by killing her non-stop, and away from there, La Tierra stabbed herself from the sword that was made by Philosopher's Stone to become an Ulysses. An evil god kept killing Astaroth to enjoy, then La Tierra came out as a powerful Ulysses. Astaroth told her to bring back Morency is to extract the stone from him. And she used her enchanted bullets to fight off and did her great against invisible blades, but she was reaching her limits, and finally she shot the stone out of him, but God took it back again. That moment gave a chance for Morency to come back, and he gave the elixir to La Tierra and asked her to kill him while he was still holding that god back, but she got late for it. And there Jean comes in for Morency. She reminds him how he promised to stay by her side and knocked him out. That once again brought Morency out. And then he saw the future where Jean was labeled as a witch after this fight and was burned to death at the stake. Seeing that presence of Morency vanished like he died for real this time, which makes Jean go berserk. And Philip also felt Morency vanishing, but her helmet tells her to kill the god and take revenge, and by doing so, she'll make her family the strongest in France and England. Then she woke up as Glasstail had saved her from drowning, and they got to the conclusion that Glasstail's arrow would be useful on Morency as he had also become an Ulysses. So Philip suggested using Jean as a sacrifice to make it happen, and as their plan was made, at that time, La Tierra and Jean were having a hard time against Anvil. So La Tierra pinned her hope onto Jean to destroy the god while she became a distraction, and going with that, Jean tried her best but couldn't do anything. And when all hope seemed to be lost when two Ulysses got down, Anvil even brought out more monsters to this world to completely wipe the humans out. And his spaceship were ready to launch full-scale attack from space, but Philip caught him and Glasstail shot a holy arrow, but Jean stopped them from killing Anvil because Morency is still alive. So Philip gave bits of her powers to Jean and she kissed him to merge into Morency's world. She got into Morency and saw all of his past, although Morency never recognized her. So Jean made him remember her and his promise, and that turned the whole world upside down and a new past came out. Slowly Jean saw all of Morency's past, and finally she saw her own death. It was the future he saw that made him lose his hope and wander around in this imaginary world. It was peaceful even if it's not real, and they could stay here together, but they can't stay here. Jean made him realize it's a wrong decision he made. The real world is incomplete, but their friends makes it better. And she'll stay by his side her whole life no matter what situation they might face. After that, the time was up and Morency came out of that body, and Envel got angry. Both becomes one to get stronger, and Jean and Morency stood together to fight against Envel. In his rage, he turned into a complete monster, so Morency gave Jean the elixir for her Ulysses form, and then he stuck Envel's hand into his shield, providing Jean with the best opportunity to deliver a fatal blow, which she did successfully. She dealt the blow severe enough to kill the King of God. After that the peace came back to this world, but Philip was again being brainwashed by her helmet, which replicates her father's wishes. It kept telling her to kill Ulysses and Morency for power and position, and if she doesn't then remember that she also loves Morency but he only cares for Jean. So she should kill them both because she can't stay with him but Jean could, so she picked up her sword, but she resisted, and Philip asked Glasstail to kill her and end her misery. But that kind soul broke her helmet instead of killing her, giving her a new chance in life. But then the English army arrived on the scene. But Princess of Wales relayed the order to retreat which came from Lord Bertford himself, so that wraps up everything for good this time. And the victory party was arranged in Paris for the French army. But Jean was jealous that Morency is now taking La Tierra as his second wife, so Dude kept explaining that the circumstances were bad in the fight. And not to mention his marriage to Catherine is political. But when they met Charlotte, she kissed Jean instead of Morency, and La Tierra kept enjoying the scene. But Astroff was planning to go away because her job was done. She blames herself for not noticing this major event, which put all the world in danger. More so, Morency opened the door to the future himself, so she's thinking she's worthless and pathetic. But no matter what, Morency gives her some heartfelt words to change her mind. So Astroff decided to stay and observe Morency and Jean grow even more. But away from there, Philip's helmet was put back together again and it called out to her. But she refused the power to face her own weakness herself. And then, Jean came to Morency's home to meet Catherine, but she wasn't angry. Instead, Jean thought if sometime in the future when Morency is alone, she hopes Catherine would stay with him and love him. Those words did weigh on her heart, but still, it was peaceful. And then they enjoyed some alone time staying in each other's arms. But the comfort zone ends and the war continues against the English army. And Rishma came back to join the cavalry again. But it was up to Charlotte. She acted just like a princess, hiding her true feelings, but everyone knew she welcomed Rishma with open arms. And that's where our anime ends. So stay tuned to watch more anime recaps on my channel, and for that subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon to never miss an update. So let's meet in next video guys, till then take care.